First graders, this is Mrs. Zimmerman. Glad to see you back again. And we're going to be continuing our study on point of view. And let's remember that we listened to the story of the Three Little Pigs. And we remember that good readers know whose point of view the story is being told from. Was the story told from any of the characters in the story? Was it told from the first little pig who bought straws perspective? Was it told from the second little pig who's built their house of sticks? Or was it told from the point of view of the third little pig who built his house with brick? Or was it told by the wolf? And we decided, if you remember, that this story was told from somebody outside of the story, somebody that was watching the whole story happen and telling us about the story. All right, so now today I told you that we were going to listen to a story about the wolf, and we are. So I think you're going to enjoy this story, and the title of this one is The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. All right, and so remember, good readers are going to be thinking about whose point of view is the story being told from, and who's speaking as the story is told. Whose speech bubbles are we listening to? So those are two things that good readers always do. Before we start the story, since we're talking about pigs, I have another pig joke for you. And it is, what do you call a pig who is playing a tug of war? Pulled pork. Ha ha ha. Okay, enjoy the story of the true story of the Three Little Pigs. And we'll talk about it when we're done.
Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs. Or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story. Because nobody ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf. Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheeps and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. And I had this terrible sneezing cold. And then I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright neither. He had his whole house built out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind builds a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't just want to walk right into someone else's house, so I called out. Hello? Little pig? Little pig, are you in? Are you in here? No answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. And that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. I huffed. And I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn house fell down. And right in the middle of that pile of straw was our first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner just, lying there in the straw. So I ate it up. I ate the pig. Think of it as like a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. Now this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had a house built of sticks. I rang the bell in the stick house. Nobody answered. And then I called. Hey, Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in? Then he yelled back.
Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin.
I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth this time. But I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not gonna believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was a second little pig dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing that was left to do. I had dinner again. You know, think of it as like a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have my cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. And this guy was the first and second pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. So I called. Mr. Pig! Hey, Mr. Pig, are you in? Do you know what that rude little porker said to me?
Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again.
Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar in there, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup of my dear sweet granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. And then the third little pig yelled,
And your old granny can sit on a pin.
Now I'm usually a pretty calm fella. When somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. The cops drove up, of course. I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had to do. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. Oh, they jazzed the story up with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me a big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was frank. But, you could, loan me a cup of sugar.
Well, first graders, who do you think was telling that story? I think that I hope that you were asking yourself that question as you were listening. So we would think, was it one of the pigs telling the story? Was it the wolf telling the story? Or was it, like the other book, somebody outside watching the whole story happen? Think about that. If you guessed that it was the wolf, you're right. The wolf was telling the story. And he was doing a pretty good job of making himself look innocent, wasn't he? But I don't know if I believe him or not. All right. I hope that you were able to tell from that story that it was the wolf. And it was the wolf's point of view that we were listening to as he was telling the story. All right, I thought it was fun to compare those two books. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Also, remember that the other thing that good readers do is they ask themselves the question, who's talking? Who's speaking? Who's saying this? So I'm going to quiz you and see if you were good listeners. I'm sure you were. Okay, the first question is, who said, "Get out of here, wolf, and don't bother me again"? Who said that? All right, if we look back in the story, I'm going to try to find it really quickly here. It was towards the end. Right here at the bottom, I hope you can see the words, "Get out of here, wolf, don't bother me again." And that would definitely be the pig who is speaking those words to the wolf. And it's the third pig because his house is made of brick. So we have to be good detectives as we read to figure out who's speaking. All right, I hope you guessed that. Second question. Here we go. Who said, Mr. Pig, are you in? Who said that? Right here it is, actually, on the same page right above. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And that definitely would be the wolf calling to the pig inside of his brick house. All right, I hope that you remembered and realized that as you were listening to the story. All right, the third one's a little bit funny, and that is, who said, and your old granny can sit on a pin? Who said that? All right, let's look back in the story. Somebody lost their patience, I think. All right, and here it is at the bottom. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. All right, I hope you were able to know the answers to those questions. And I hope that you enjoyed this story. Our next video, video number 3, will be Point of View, and we will be doing the worksheets from Packet 4, Week 8, Days 1 and 3. And I believe that you need an orange, a yellow, and a green crayon to do those. So when we start the next video, be sure to have those things ready, and we're going to do some fun worksheets together. Before I close, I want to ask you, do you know what pigs give on February 14th? They give Valen swines. All right, I hope you enjoyed the story. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you remember that good readers know who's telling the story and who is speaking. See you next time. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.